Well, let's move along, and it's been a big 6 months for the financial advice industry with the passing of educational standards legislation, the creation of further regulation by the corporate regulator ASIC, and of course COVID-19 and the early access to superannuation that came with it. To take us through it all, we're joined by Mark Hoven from Advisor Ratings. Mark, welcome back to the program. When it comes to the past 6 months, what's been the prevailing theme that's really caught your eye?
Well, you described it really well in the introduction. It's call it the COVID-19 quarter, if not the COVID-19 first half of the year. So clearly that's in relation to early access to super, taking out $19 billion of funds in the quarter, and now up to $30 billion as of essentially today. Has been a huge impact. JobKeeper, JobSeeker impacting consumers, but also impacting the advisors who are servicing their need. And we've also had the significant change, which was the regulatory reform around education, the FASEA standards, and getting clarity for advisors over when exam deadlines are due. So they were to some extent, the environmental elements backgrounding the statistics from our report.
Advisor numbers, obviously they are continuing to decline. You mentioned a few of the factors that may have been behind that. When it comes to the future, is this a trend that you can see continuing, and is it going to be impacting a particular cohort over another?
Yeah, so just quoting some of those statistics, as you say, it was another big quarter of exits. We saw 1,400 advisors leave the industry in the last quarter. The overall total number of advisors fell by 1,200. So that they were record outcomes. That's a sort of a decline rate of something like 25% per year, which is on an annualized basis, which is way above what we've seen in the last 6 to 8 quarters, which is more like 16%. Basically, we're down to 21,500 advisors, and you're racing towards a number in the order of 15,000 that we've forecast for a couple of years now. I hope it doesn't get to that, but that's the trend, and we could be there within a couple of years. So big movements out of the industry, lots of switching around the industry as well. That's consistently at about the same rate. 700 advisors changed licensees in the quarter. On an annualized basis, that's about 12%, which is also extremely consistent with the last 6 to 8 quarters. But together, the exits, the switches, and the very small number of entries to the industry total something like 36% on an annualized basis, which is huge. It's just a massive proportion of the industry that's moving in some way.
So supply of advisors is trending lower. What's happening with demand? I can imagine that there'd still be a lot of demand for services out there given the environment we're sitting at the moment. We've got record low interest rates, so much uncertainty out there, stocks sitting near or at record highs in some instances. Surely there's a bit of a pickup in demand as well, though.
Yeah, this is a big topic. I was just reading a quote today from the CEO of Good Shepherd, who said that financial distress is now the most significant welfare issue facing Australians. And I think we would all concur with that. This has had an extraordinary negative impact on people's finances and their budgets. And we're seeing that translating through into demand for advice, both empirically and anecdotally. Demand from existing clients of advisors, certainly calling their advisors frequently now during this period to get help, but also new customers emerging. But it's also accelerated a debate that absolutely needs to happen, which is trying to remove the red tape from the advice industry to allow advisors to service clients with simple needs. And this is something that's been taken up by a couple of industry associations. The Financial Services Council has put forward a proposal around that. The accounting bodies and a couple of the financial advice bodies are also going to government, to Senator Jane Hume and to the Prime Minister's office to put forward some proposals around simplifying advice. And ASICs even come out in the last couple of days to say they're somewhat perversely hiring some consultants to look into simplifying the advice process. many would say long overdue.
Yes, interesting space to go and keep an eye on. Mark, we might get you back in the program to go and see how that's progressing in the months ahead. Thanks for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Mark Hoven there joining us from Advisor Ratings.